Can everybody hear me okay? I always like to check the volume. I did a show earlier today. I looked down and my mic was off. Like about died. Perfect. So let me go ahead and introduce. We literally have a pretty cool topic. So one of the things I wanted to cover, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, is talk about team communication, the importance of being able to use a common language amongst your team, and knowing what to look for. And I could not come up with a better guy to help me explain this than this cat. What's going on, Tommy Burgess?
Just hanging out, self-quarantining a little bit.
Yeah, I think everybody's doing that. But Tommy and I have had a number of conversations on this topic. He's talked about it on his show. I've talked about it a little bit on my show. And we've been wanting to get together and do a combined one for a while. And we were talking earlier this week, and I said, I've got the perfect topic because I know, Tommy, you guys have got probably one of the tightest teams out of everybody that races late models for sure. And I know inside of your team, you've said a number of times that folks have different roles that they do. But how did you end up deciding to divide everybody up like that?
So in the beginning, it was me, Jack, Jason, and Tyler Price. And pretty much it was, Jack was the mentor to us three. And the motor deal came from me. I always like tinkering with motors. So Nick Bell taught me a lot and toodles me, and Nick still go back and forth. Nick does all my open motor stuff. I don't even do my own open motors. Nick does. I just do my spec stuff. And so Jack was like, nobody in the group wanted to do it. So it's kind of like one of those, oh, you like it, it's yours. Jason and Jack and Tyler worked on setup development. And then as the group has changed, people have come, people have gone. Danny Stockman, the crew chief for Kyle Busch, came with us, and we worked on some pretty innovative packages with Danny. Danny's brought a lot. Jason basically going to Indy and I'm not going to get beat at this racetrack no more attitude, and just logging laps, trying stuff, staying after the race 2 or 3 hours, breaking in tires, trying new stuff. Got better, won the last score race there last year. So hard work does pay off. And basically just take everything that Jack's done over his time in RC, take everything I've done in my pan car, my RC, real life. Jason's the same way. He's raced go-karts, big cars, RC cars, off-road, on-road, pan car, and dirt oval. Then you take Danny, and then you take Wendell. Don't know no better. So see, Wendell's the crash test dummy. We just go ahead and put it on Wendell's car and tell him, get after it, boy. And then Wendell. So I'm not the best setup guy. But so if we can come up with something and I go, it made my car more forgiving, we done this, we done that, we know it's going to help the whole group. So it's kind of getting in where you fit in and being humble. Look, I'm not a wheel man by no stretch of imagination.
Oh, I can attest to that.
So yes, you've been on the other end of a nose or a door. So it's real simple. It's just being humble enough to realize that it's about the greater good. I told them one time this year, and we done it at the score race. Guys, if we all show up, one of us, if the best one of us is going to do is sixth. If there's 6 of you and you go to plan, one of you is going to finish sixth. Hopefully it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You podiumed out. So that's kind of what you got to work towards, and you got to understand that there ain't no ego. Whatever I got to do to support them and them support me is kind of how we do it.
Yeah. One of the things that we had done ourselves earlier in the year, and it was a little bit modeled after some of the things you guys were doing, but it was around, we were wanting to try some new things. And I think a lot of folks know we've been playing around with a lot of car stuff lately, but we just said, hey, we're going to take my car and we're going to try a whole bunch of stuff. And then however that works out, it works out. And we took kind of like that IndyCar mentality of the A car, B car. And it was a clear idea who was going to be the A car. And when we switched back and forth, we actually went down. Reese had a brutal summer because I think he went through 4 or 5 different car brands, decided to kind of do his own thing. And that's when we started going, hey, we're going to have to, if we're going to test something, it's got to be proven out against a car that's not changing. And I know you guys have done some of that too, where you've got the static car and then you've got the dynamic changing car.
So usually at a race, there's one of us that's playing with something. It could be insignificant or it could be a major, thing. Like right now, I've got 3 cars hanging on the wall. So one of them is the race car, one of them is a test bed, and one of them's what was I thinking? So, you can go that approach if you're a single man, one man band, or, a lot of times the other week down at Little Dixie, I decided to go off on my own tangent a little bit on tire compounds and tire dope. Did it work? Not compared to Jack. Jack was on standard fare. We've seen how that worked out. So Jason was a little bit different. I was a little bit different. Wendell was a little bit different. So we all kind of, let's learn what we need to learn. This is a brand new track. We'll attack it from 4 different angles, not vastly different angles, but 4 different angles. And we're going to be able to figure out what works and what doesn't very quickly. That is the benefit of having a group. Let's say anywhere from, a group can be 2 to 5 people. When all of you go out there and practice, instead of the one man by himself, he got 4 minutes of practice. When we all go out there, we just got 16 minutes, 20 minutes of practice in one lick. It was 20 minutes and 4 minutes. When come back, how did you like what you tried? How did you like what you tried? No, that sucks. No, let's go this route. I'm going to go change this and come back. It's no different than like Hendricks or Penske or somebody like that with a large team. Using the only way you get more time out of limited time is by more chances, and chances being people on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's all about getting more data, right?
Right. So we're a very data-driven group. So this is the 3 notebooks from last year. 3 notebooks of stuff last year that we worked on. Now some of that's motor stuff, and some of it's nominal track sizes and stuff like that. Knowing, hey, what roll light do I need to start on when I go here and yonder? Just quick reference notes. But so, I personally, when I come home and I've done bad or good, I put the car back on the scales. I check all my measurements. I check my casters and cambers and everything. And this is when I left the house. This is what I came back with. This is the things I changed. It's data driven. It's analytics is what it boils down to.
Yeah, and that's the one I think about a lot of tracks moving over to the live RC stuff, because we can go and compare times against everybody, right? And that's one of the things that we do usually on the ride home is we're pulling up who was fast, who wasn't fast, where were we, where did we think we were going good, where didn't we think we were good, and there's a lot of data there. And so if you're not using something like a live RC to pull that data, you're just missing out on a whole bunch. Because what we did through the entire SCORE season last year is we kept comparing time, so we could tell if we were gaining. And so we were spending a lot of time on our tire program and other things, and that's what we wanted to see. Okay, race over race, did we get better? Did we get better versus the field? And I think that's one of those things, because it's a comparative metric, right? It's, did I get better against ourselves? And did ourselves get better against the field? Because if y'all jumped way up on us, or somebody else jumped way up on us, Bowman or somebody, then that tells you you're losing the speed. You could get faster, but setting personal best when the field's faster than you isn't that rewarding.
Well, we seen that at the beginning of last year when Jim come out and just basically hit us right in the nose down at Austin's racetrack. We were like, what just happened? We've never, as a group, Jack, we've always had at least 2 or 3 of us pretty good, and Jack was the only one that was good. That's his home turf, so we kind of expected that, but we were like, damn, why are we so far off the mark? And we kept digging, and then we started a very aggressive test program, very aggressive. And by mid-year, we had done caught up. And then at the end of the year, I think the results as a group, you've seen our whole group go up the ladder board. And that's what we were shooting for. And then, between Jason at the SCORE race, me, Danny, Jason at the Indy 500, Jason's been on fire up north this, winter up there at Limestone, some places like that. The test concept has really worked. And, it's got to be, you have to, I went to Tennessee last year with a new package on the car. And when I came back, I told Jack and them, that's what we're going to have. And Jack and Jason, none of them questioned it. They said, okay, that's what we're going to do. And that's what we did. So, you know, they got to have, there's got to be a rapport and faith and trust with one another. And, you know, sometimes we don't agree on what the best way to skin that cat is. And we've looked at one another for us and said, okay, you go that way and I'm going to go this way. One of us going to be wrong. Sometimes both of you is wrong. You both guessed wrong. Racing is who makes the best educated guess based upon the information and the facts you have and what you do with it. You know, a hammer and a nail ain't no good if you damn trying to nail the hammer or trying to nail the hammer. It ain't gonna work. It's a lot of that, and you draw off experience over time. I draw off a lot of go-kart and past experience. Jack draws off big cars. You know, he used to go with Dangy a lot with the Hooters Pro Cup type stuff. So we talk about, you know, springs and shocks and sway bars and chassis attitude and ride heights and what guys tried to accomplish and all that with everything they did. How they, you know, you got infinitely more adjustment in some regards. Some of the big car stuff doesn't turn over to this. I mean, look at Jim. Pullman works at Ganassi and has every tool at his disposal, but it doesn't all translate to RC cars. You have to, sometimes you're just going to have to go learn it. And, you know, and people take it for granted. We race against the most competitive late model people in the country. There ain't none no better than Ryder here in the South. I know the people in North hollering. I hear Rob Goodman now. But, and Brett, don't get me wrong, Brent Harms and J-Rod Hire and them are pretty good. But on high bite, non-spec tire, open tire, just run what you brung, hope you brung enough type racing, the South generally does better in late model. The North does better in sprint car. You know, Max is an anomaly, and he just does what he does anywhere he goes in mod sprint, but that's just the way it works. So, you know, late model is as tough as it gets down here.
Well, I think it's starting to show true, because if you think about, especially this year at Limestone, you guys had a great run in at Fast 5. We had some good runs at Corns' house. And that's one of the things that we were looking at this year is, you know, having the right combination of being able to run on our dirt, which is a lot different than the dirt that you see up north.
It's got corn cobs in it.
Yeah, it does. It's a different color for sure. But being able to go up there and having, I think every South car got at Limestone, I think every one of them that was running was in the A main there and running pretty competitively. To me, that just shows that the collective group of folks in the South have really gotten it much faster than we had, because we're running good pretty much everywhere now.
I mean, it's what you growed up on with. Because I was down here, the only way I ever seen a sprint car was on Thursday Night Thunder. You know, my first sprint car hero, or midget, whatever you want to call it, open wheel, is Rich Vogler. You know, that man could wheel, and God rest his soul. And then for IndyCar, it was Rick Mears in the Mears gang. Them cats, I mean, that whole deal with Penske and Ord, Indy, and watching the guys at the month of May, Carb Day, and all that, you know. But when you talk about local racing down here, it's late models. It's Bloomquist. It was Mike Duval. It was Freddie Smith, Buck Simmons, the living legend. All those guys. I mean, so late models is what you work on, what you growed up wanting to be. Everybody want to be a late model driver, so that's what we work the hardest on. And it's following down here. You go to a racetrack, there's how many late models versus how many sprint cars.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Well, I do think it's worth mentioning within the North, there's only one class that really matters, which is the Midwest Mod. And
Formula One of carbon fiber high bike cars.
That's exactly right. It is the Formula One. And I don't like to mention a lot, but I do have the fastest Midwest Mod in South Carolina.
It's probably the only one.
It is the only one that I'm aware of. But
what did I call it? A coffin on wheels up there. It drives like a 53-foot gooseneck dually.
Exactly.
But it goes in the corner, it turns, it does everything. I would rather see everybody take them Traxxas mud buggies and grind them up in a wood chipper and run Midwest Mod. And I'll tell you why. It's all about the support. The Midwest Mod deal, that it's Malakote's car, I get it. But if there was more pull for it, Custom Works would make a version. No big deal. But it's a simple platform, and it supports the companies that support the sport that you like to do. Traxxas only supports people that want to run 150 mile an hour out here on the damn street with an 18 cell S lipo, and they I don't even know what they do for off road. I mean, because Traxxas is the ultimate basher vehicle. You buy it, and you've always got to run it over with a tank to kill it. So, but they don't do anything for dirt over. You can't even get them to give you a kit at cost to give to like the Mud Boss Champion. So it's like we support it out of it's supported out of necessity for a cheap vehicle is all.
Yeah. Well, and that partnership with NHRA that they had is what even brought them into drag, quite honestly.
Well, so instead of having drag cars for people to see at the drag strip, they set up a bull pit of 10 of them, and they played Rock'em Sock'em robots with them. They never really showed the drag cars that much, which was astonishing considering the following on the drag RC side of stuff that the Traxxas Funny car has.
Yeah.
People love that crap. Like Malakote and his brand new Aero. He's venturing off into the Street Eliminator, which is SCT based, blah, 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 type deal. It's a pretty neat piece, and people went crazy for it. And it's in the world of no prep, and you can go gamble a little bit in drag racing, as we all know. So it's got an appeal there from the shady side of money. Yeah,
and we got number 4 drag blend this week, so we even have caught on to that. I did want to switch gears, though. One of the things I was thinking about, and actually Jake Bridges and Jeremy are on, this is one of the things that we've been talking to them a lot about, is you've got to get – I think that there's a bigger jump from 21.5 to 17.5 than people are giving it credit. And one of those is really understanding where the car is at on the track and where it's fast and where it isn't. And I would be interested what your opinion is, because I think it's a much bigger gap than people are saying. Motor out.
So let's talk a little Indy. So when a track's in good shape, let's say medium high bite, and 17.5 late models running 3 9s and 4 0s, you're going to see some guys flirt with 4 4s, and right around the fastest guys will go 4 4s in 21.5. So that's a half of a second. So the problem is the 21.5 car makes all its speed center off to the middle of the straightaway. That's where it's really it's not killing a 17.5 car. That's where it's not losing to a 17.5 car.
Right.
Then the big horsepower comes on and drags them, just murders them from middle track down to the center. Because of the nature, it's like mod sprint. A mod sprint never looks as good through the corner as a 10.5 because of all the horsepower and the whoa-up factor. A 10.5 car tries to run like a 17.5 car on a rope. They're trying to rodeo like that right there. So 21.5 guys are blessed and cursed in some respects with the car placement on the racetrack. They're carpet racing. They are the truest form of carpet foam tire racing because they can't give up nothing. You can't roll the throttle, nothing. You're trying to run WFO for 4 minutes. And when we get these bigger racetracks, hopefully we'll see some like Talladega style. When we go to Smoky Mountain, whenever it is, whether we get to go next month or not, I imagine you will see 21.5 cars like this right here with one another. It's a big enough, wide enough racetrack. They should not have to crack the throttle, shouldn't have to lift. So it's going to be about who doesn't give up footage, who puts their car in the right place, and who drives smart. But where they're faster at is from mid-corner on. They don't have that. The car doesn't have to soak up any energy to turn like a 17.5 car does. They're very efficient center off.
Yeah, I think that we've got some interesting challenges for 21.5 coming up. One, they weren't around for Tennessee last year in Knoxville. And I think you're right. I don't know if you'll catch a draft, but I think they're going to line up and go. And whoever slips up in the corner a little bit, because just dropping a little bit of efficiency through the center of the corner is a lot for those cars. You just can't make it up.
Well, as you know, the one advantage a 21.5 car will have on a dry slick racetrack, you don't have as much torque. So you probably shouldn't buzz the tire.
Yep.
You won't buzz the tire. you're not going to have as much body as a 17.5 car. With the body rule, the Buckeye is going to be way less downforce than what they're used to when you go to a bigger racetrack. But anytime you go to a place like that where the corner in Tennessee is as long as the straightaway, and the corner at Bobby's is. So you got to put a premium on how long you're hanging left. Everybody can go straight. It's that hanging left that seems to be the issue sometimes. So it's going to be interesting for them to understand how to use that, and how these guys most of them they run a 2-inch spoiler who can get tucked up behind somebody and not run them over on the big end and pull out. You'll see a lot of people getting crunched, getting in the corner because of the run. Mm-hmm. Guys side by side, and we know what happens with a big car. And then all of a sudden, well, I've got this run, and you know what? Tommy and them said I can't back out the throttle. Yeah, I gotta go. Also,
tires are better than 4, right?
Well, in some cases, 12 are better than 4. Yes, so you'll see some of that right there. But 21.5 hopefully grooms people for how they have to drive a 17.5 car, because the faster you go, the more respect for the speed you have to have.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, I think one of the things, especially when you look at a car like that, it goes back to, like you said, it's a lot more like carpet, and a lot of us have carpet experience, and it's about efficiency. It's not ever lifting, and it's about that front end not pushing through the corner. And I think when you look at a lot of the really good 21.5 cars, that's what they're starting to figure out, is how to get them to turn, but not to over rotate. And that's going to be a huge difference, is how do you get through. Yeah, we kind of go through, there's 4 parts of a corner. Some folks divide it different ways. Some folks do 3, some folks do more. But it's that first initial, when the car has to go in and set, can it set and does it disrupt the car? And that's how efficient it's going to be. That's going to make a big difference.
The first 3 foot of the corner dictates the other feet of the corner.
Yep.
You know, everybody's always heard you got to get in to get off. That is a very true statement. So, and Joe Goodwin, when I was talking to him a long time ago, God rest his soul, he said there is no get without give. So if you need to get in better, where can you give up something? So you have to start thinking, where can you take something from to make you better? A lot of people try to think of, I have to make it better here. No, where am I too good? If you've got something to give here, if you're overbalanced, out of balance is what it boils down to. You got to figure out the balance of entry, cut, across the center, finish the corner. You know, some people break it up into thirds, fourths, or fifths. It's real simple. I've got to be real good to the center. And then it's the attitude of the car from the center out that dictates where the car will be on the racetrack.
Yeah.
And you'll see, I tell everybody, the ass end don't need to tell the front end where to go. The front, when a car is really fast, it looks like the front end is down. The attitude of the car is down, like that right there. When a car is tight or it just isn't compliant with somebody, you'll see the car kind of porpoising up. You'll see the nose up in the corner versus down. It's all where that left rear wants to follow the left front. If the left rear is on the outside of the left front, it's going around the corner. Might be a little too free, but so be it. If that left rear is tucked like attitude like this right here, you're probably going to push.
Yeah. All right, so we're coming up on the 5 minutes here. Let's see what we got. Not a lot of folks are commenting, except for Reese wants to know, when's the special guest come on? I thought that was a classic.
I am the special guest, Reese.
And Goodman could not help himself. He's saying taxi cabs. Let's see.
Yeah, he loves the taxi cabs, don't he?
That's a man that has a love for a lot of different racing. But now, again, he also understands the value of a good Midwest mod, though. That's an amazing high bike car. And then, Wendell. Oh, Wendell, it was nice of you to join us with 6-7 minutes left to go.
Hold it wide open. Well, I mean, so that brings up a good point, too. There's a lot of people that they feel like they got to overdrive. Arnie Fye gave me some good advice probably about 6.5 years ago. If you'll stay out of the marshal's hands, you'll have a better race day. So there's a lot that goes in it. You might lose sponsorship talking like that. But Justin, I can promise you one thing. I am sponsored by BP. BP Racing sponsors me. That's back pocket. And I don't think Brent Densford will kick me off Beach RC because you got to be a little afflicted to be on Beach RC.
I was just disappointed I didn't get one of his Easter eggs. I went through that whole website. I've not found one after everybody else found them, I think.
Well, you probably had to go look at the on sale 1975 Associated Gold Tub Titanium like hinge pin category to find them Easter eggs.
Let's see. So Wendell, he's been iRacing. So I helped Wendell find an iRacing setup. He got the deal of a lifetime.
So he was leading in the iRace and blowed up the other night. I want to know how you blow up in iRacing.
How do you blow up an iRacing?
What do you get mad? Just kick the clutch in and rev it up? I mean,
yeah, post that one up. Let's hear how you did that. Now I heard that Reese practiced with him the other day, and Wendell gave poor Reese the horn. So that's what I heard. I heard that was.
Hey, when you ain't got to get in the back of the ambulance, you'll drive it in there dash deep. That's a fact. So, but I got a question for you, Alan.
All right.
When will you show the world the Ghost?
We will have more information on the Ghost, which it will probably be for the first score race. It will probably we'll probably have some more information on whatever that might be.
Whatever car that might be. Yes, I understand.
But the stickers, we got some stickers. And so
yes, I find them on the back of my Kia sometimes.
Yeah, almost every time we go out there, we'll help you out with that.
Oh yeah, you hook me up. Free advertisement all the way on 85, all the way back to Piedmont.
Reese said two things. The Ghost comes up, and first thing he says is, "Shut up, old man."
Look, unless you got to cover it with a towel, it ain't nothing special. Let the world see it. Tell him like Earnhardt said. He runs mayonnaise in the shock oil.
Exactly. So, all right. Anybody have any? Gotta name it POS.
Yeah, short for positive.
Yeah, you know what? That's the real question: is when is Nerd National Hobbies going to actually open up beyond a couple of bearings?
He's going to have to fire. He's going to have to fire his IT guy because the damn site's taking too long.
He wouldn't pay the man I used. He's too cheap.
Hold on, cheap and Wendell Chavis don't go in the same damn sentence.
So, all right. Anybody else? Because we are right up on 9 o'clock. We'll give you a couple more seconds here. I'll tell you one thing. I'm ready to go back to doing some racing. And
very. I tell you what, my group, Malacote and the rest of them are doing tonight. They're texting me, when's everybody getting on Call of Duty? So we can't race. So we're all playing Warzone, Call of Duty. Some folks are iRacing. It's rough.
It is, but I think we'll keep watching it. But I think we'll have a pretty good summer. I think there'll be a lot of cars out. At least that's what I keep trying to convince myself. I think we'll see.
Well, all the money dues at the house should be done.
Yeah.
You got all your cars built and clean. So at least for a month, it'll be an onslaught of racing.
Oh, for sure. Reese Cinchman's got his EDM. I don't think he's ran EDM in score before. I'll have to go back and check. But
will this be a father and son death match in EDM?
You know, I had a really good EDM and a really bad driver for 6 races in score. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, the fan vote would agree with you there. I told you. How many times did I tell you that's the fastest damn EDM here, Alan?
6 times.
Yes, 6 times.
6 times.
When are you getting iRacing time? No, Jake. No, I'm a Call of Duty. That's as far as I'm going in the computer world. If Wendell will get now, everybody doesn't know this. Wendell in his Ferrari seated iRacing rig. If he'll just send one to the house, then maybe. But no.
Reset. I lost my EDM ride. That's
Yeah, well, or did you trade it for the bigger EDM Midwest Mod?
No, you know what? The only class that matters.
It is. It's the only one that draws fans to the stands, puts Chevys in driveways.
That's exactly right. I mean, when you've got IndyCar legends like Cuz, Chris, and everybody in there with you, you know, Riley, even Riley's watching tonight. So,
oh, he said, Call of Duty, I'm interested. So, any of you on the Call of Duty, I'm Wheelman5, WHEELMAN 5. That's my Activision account handle. I don't know what Malakote and them is, but anytime that y'all want to get hooked up and play some Warzone, I'm good for it. There's nothing better than killing people and knifing them.
yeah, I can say that. They laugh at me. I'm horrible at it. I just kind of meander around, find a place to hide.
Hey, camping has its virtues because I play a lot of battle royale solo, so it's 150 people against one another, and you start getting down in the circle to about 20 people. You get cubbied up in one of them places and get those shotgun ready. Oh, they holler.
Well, hey, buddy, this was a blast. I appreciate you coming on. Maybe we'll do this again. And it's good to break it up. Everybody's in the same situation in the country. So hopefully everybody's staying safe. And appreciate you coming on, having some fun with us.
All right. Guys, y'all take it easy. As I always say, you do your thing because I'm going to do mine.
All right. Take care, guys. See ya.